Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodney Hakim, and welcome to Persian Gallery New York's 49th anniversary celebration. We are here today to celebrate our journey of 49 years in the antique rug industry. It's not many companies that can say that they've been in any industry for 49 years, but we're very happy to be one of the few that are left in the antique rug trade and to be so long lived and to have such longevity in this wonderful business. We in past years, when it was time for our annual anniversary celebration, we would have an in-store event. We would have a wine and cheese event. We would see some of our friends, our colleagues, our clients in an in-store basis. But unfortunately, due to the COVID era and the restrictions thereof, that is not possible this year. Therefore, we have moved our event into a Facebook Live format. So I hope you're all joining us here today, and thank you for those who are. Today we'll be chatting with myself, Rodney Hakim of Persian Gallery New York. We'll be chatting with some of our staffers, and we'll be discussing the state of the Oriental rug industry. We'll be reviewing some of our new product reveals for the fall season and everything else relating to antique rugs and tapestries. Again, my name is Rodney Hakim. This is Persian Gallery New York. This is our 49th anniversary celebration for anyone who is joining us. We'll be talking about how we got to our current day and age in the area rug industry. 49 years is a long time. To discuss that journey, I'll be asking, in a couple of moments, I'll be asking the company founder, Ike Hakim, to join us. Meanwhile, I'll give you a brief summary of who we are and how we got here. Persian Gallery New York is a company that specializes in antique oriental rugs, fine Persian carpets, carpets from all over the Middle East and Europe, antique tapestries, textiles, pillows, and much more. We have moved in many different formats over the years from location to location. The company started in 1971 in the Upper East Side on 3rd Avenue and then migrated downtown to 28th Street, later over to the West Side and back over to the East Side as we moved with the Oriental rug industry. We've been in our location right now in the heart of the Oriental Rug District here on 31st Street between Madison and Park Avenues in Midtown Manhattan for over 20 years, and we plan to stay here much longer. But this is probably, I would say, the center of the Oriental rug world right now is right here in New York City, right in the nexus where we are. As I said, we're one of the few companies that is extant that has such longevity specifically in the realm of antique rugs. Many of our colleagues and friends who are in the rug industry have migrated into either new rugs, custom-made rugs, or some combination of those kind of rugs and antiques. We're one of the few that are solely focused on antique rugs and tapestries. We're one of the country's leading sources for antique tapestries, with perhaps the biggest and best and deepest selection of antique tapestries in the trade. So before we go any further, I will ask the company president and founder, Ike Hakim, to join our discussion. Ike will join us for this chat. So Ike and Frank, my father, Frank Hakim, Ike is my uncle. They began the company in 1971 it was on 3rd Avenue. And how did you guys go about starting the business back then?
Well, your father came over to US and I was studying here. I finished my studies and I studied engineering and I was working at the engineering firm, and then his father came over to US and says, I'd like to start a business here, and he was expert in rugs.
He had done rugs in Iran with your father, with my grandfather, Soleiman, may he rest in peace. And then he brought that trade to the U.S.
Yes, and then, we stayed in retail for like 3 years, and then we moved into wholesale. And we were one of the first ones to get into antique rugs. And we were kind of a leader in antique rugs, a wholesale supplier to all the retailers in America and Europe. So, we flourished. We did a we were probably one of the biggest antique rug dealers in U.S. and so we kept going and building up good clientele, good inventory, and we tried to supply the U.S. and we were kind of one of the first ones to start distributing rugs to the retailers in the U.S. So
what were your specialties as in the early years, and how did that change as time went on?
uh, our specialty was mostly Persian rugs, Harizas, Serapis that were very popular. Also, we did antique Ushak carpets and other uh, Chinese and European carpets, Aubusson, Savonneries,
All kind
and
of different styles. And I think one of the hallmarks of the business, even from the early days and still today, 49 years later, has been the emphasis on oversized rugs.
correct. Yeah,
Oversized. You were one of the first. You and my father, may he rest in peace. He passed away unfortunately about 8 9 months ago. You started with were one of the ones that really emphasized oversized rugs, whereas many of the others were not focusing in that category. They were focusing maybe more on room sizes and scatter sizes. You guys embraced the larger sizes, the palace size, as some would call it. How was it going about sourcing all those huge pieces, and where did you store them?
uh, we have we traveled a lot in the U.S. and Europe to find good antique rugs, and also we had a lot of connections where they would let us know what they have, and they would ship us the carpets for our review, and uh, we had a good connection with Europe and America and most of the dealers. So we were able to, and we believed in oversized carpets because they're rare to find, and very few people are able to buy and stock them because it gets very, very expensive.
Right, it's difficult to provide the space and the logistics to
Yeah.
handle those massive carpets, where to store them, how to handle them, how to roll them, how to ship them, and all of that. And what at what point along the way did you and my father add antique tapestries to the mix?
Well, the tapestries in early times, 1980s, I fell in love with tapestries. I studied tapestries. I had I had all the books on tapestries. So I said, let's build a collection of tapestries for for our own collection. And as we started buying tapestries and uh, not selling, wanting to just hold on to them as for our collection, it was impossible. So we had to start selling, and uh, thank God it's something that we are good at. We understand tapestries. We have the largest inventory of tapestries in America, and we are probably one of the leaders in antique tapestries. We have a variety of sizes, and people now, uh, even Americans that were not interested in tapestries in the last few years, seems like there's a lot of interest, and it's a great art. It's far better than any paintings because there are multiple artists to draw up the tapestry and to weave it. You know, it's a very difficult task. It takes a long time to weave, but it's incredible. You know what they use combination of wool and they create such an art.
It's true. The antique tapestry is a very undervalued art, and relatively speaking, compared to to wall paintings and some of the things that are perhaps more popular or the American audience is more aware of. It's pennies on the dollar, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean that's actually good for the consumer here in the United States. You can buy a fantastic tapestry that is artistically just as wonderful as anything you can buy that's a painting, and you can buy it for very, very modest price, and it's a wonderful way to decorate your home, your corporate space, your any other kind of location. So, at what point did you guys decide that you were going to switch from the wholesale or from the retail market to wholesale? After Third Avenue, you went down to 28th Street. That's where the center was at that time. And then from 28th Street, everyone moved over to the was it the Chrysler, the Plymouth building? No,
The one on the west
the
side.
one on the west side. And so the industry migrated from place to place, and we've been in this location for over 20 years here at 36 East 31st Street. And what do you see coming up in the future? Now that we're 49 years in, what do you see coming up in the future for the antique rug industry?
I'm so lucky to have my nephew Rodney and my son Robert with me to carry on our legacy. Today, no business can last this long if you don't have young blood. They come in and they understand the market. They do website. They do all kinds of promotions, and thank God we are surviving because of the fact that we have the young blood in our business.
We're also thankful for all the history, all the knowledge, all the wonderful things that you and my father have brought down and taught us, and that you continue to teach us as we go along. Unfortunately, we lost two of our family members and two of the former members of the company this past year or year and a half. Actually, we lost my father, Frank, or Farouk. We lost our other uncle, Ike's other brother, Sam, unfortunately, about a year and a half ago. So we grieve their loss, but we hope that as we move forward past our 49th anniversary, that we remember them and that we continue on with their legacy in a positive way. So I know that there's something that you are working on, a passion project of yours. You had a passion project of tapestries a couple of decades ago that has flourished as is one of our most important segments of our industry right now. You're also right now very excited about the introduction of jacquard pillows, jacquard tapestry pillows. Do you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, Jacquard industry started in France in the late 19th century, and what they were basically doing were making tapestries on a Jacquard machine, and it was a cotton and silk cotton tapestries in variety of colors and designs. So we have found a source where they had the samples of the jacquard tapestries where the distributors would use to show the small patches, small samples to sell the large tapestries. So we got a hold of that, and we are introducing. We haven't introduced them yet. We have made it ready, and it's going to be a most beautiful selection of tapestry pillows anybody have seen. You know, it's smooth, it's cotton, it's nicely done, and it's something to add to the decor of their homes. So I'm
Absolutely.
excited about it.
This is something that'll be coming up soon. This is a product reveal that we have coming up for fall. We have a large selection of handmade antique French jacquard tapestry pillows, along with a selection of other antique pillows that we'll be posting up on our website very soon. In case you're not aware of our website, that is www.pgny.com, PGNY like Persian Gallery New York. And on there, you can find our pillows. You can find all of our rugs and tapestries. We have a lot of search functions that you can use to search by size, to search by style, to search by item number, to search by colors. We have color swatches you can search by. There's a whole number of tools you can use on our website. It's very fully featured and easy to use. You can find the perfect rug or tapestry for your needs. In addition to that, we recently added several pages. They're still in the works, but we have several other services that we have begun to offer in the recent years. We offer appraisal services. We offer washing and repair services. We have professional conservators here on site and nearby that we can gladly take in projects for cleaning and restoration and many other things. So Ike, we thank you for 49 years of longevity here for sourcing and collecting such an amazing array of rugs and tapestries, and we hope for wonderful things in the future.
Thank you very much. I also, again, want to thank Rodney and my son Robert for all their effort, and hope they could carry this on up to 100 years.
God will. God willing.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
And we'll be doing a toast to our 49th anniversary a little bit later in the afternoon. We want to start to show you in a few minutes some of the wonderful things that we have here. You can see behind me, you can see some of the things that are hung on the wall back there. You have a wonderful selection of items back there. You have rugs, you have tapestries. But before we get to all that, I wanted to talk about who we are, not just in terms of our family and our the products that we carry, but also in terms of who our clientele are. A lot of times people will call us and they'll ask us, well, you guys are in rugs. What does that mean? What are even, what's the difference between a new rug and an antique rug? And that's an important distinction to be aware of. A new rug, for the most part, is a rug that's been woven in the last couple of years, the contemporary rug, often with the very modern contemporary designs. But you'll also have rugs with a vintage look or an antique look, but they were possibly woven in the recent years, maybe in the last 20 to 30 years. We call those reproductions. Some people call those vintage rugs. We typically categorize it as such. Any rugs or tapestries that we have in our collection that are, let's say, from 30 to 80 years old, we categorize as vintage rugs. Any rugs or tapestries that are 80 to 100 years old and older, which actually comprises, I would say, more than 95% of our collection, that would be categorized as an antique. So what is the difference between an antique and a new rug aside from the age? Well, the antique rugs, especially the rugs that were woven in Iran or Persia, as it was called in those years, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, what's the difference between those and the modern rugs that are available now? There's a lot of differences. First of all, the rugs that were woven in those times were woven by hand by individual weavers or by groups of weavers in Persia, in Iran. Many were woven by hand in villages or in tents by nomadic tribes. Many were woven in city centers, but again, by hand. And these were all woven with a very fine grade of wool. Of course, some finer than others, and we'll review some of those differences a little bit later in the broadcast. But these were all hand woven or hand knotted items made of wool. Some are made of silk, and that's a higher level of sophistication to handle the silk because it's a much more delicate type of fiber to handle and takes much more dexterity to handle properly. But the wool hand woven rugs or hand knotted rugs are much different than the rugs that you see today. A lot of the rugs you see today are either hand tufted, which is a much lower quality. They are machine made. They are, there's not to denigrate them. The rugs that are woven today, the new rugs, the contemporary rugs, some of them have a very beautiful finish. They are very moderately priced, very economically priced, and that is an appeal for many, many buyers. But many buyers like to have something that is going to last. They want something that's going to last more than a couple of years, and they want something that is going to withstand some foot traffic, withstand a spill, withstand whatever. And these rugs that we have here, the antique Persian rugs, the antique and vintage rugs, they stand the test of time, and that's why they are extant to this point. Whereas many of the modern rugs you'll unfortunately see on a New York City street corner, because they are good for a couple of years and then they pretty much wear out their lifespan. So what is the difference amongst rug styles? You have there are two major categories. You have geometric rugs and you have floral rugs. In terms of the antique Persian rugs, the floral rugs are typically woven in city centers where you have a little bit greater level of sophistication and a little bit higher level of weaving technique. And in those floral rugs, you'll see curvilinear forms. You'll see flowers that look very accurately like flowers. You'll see shapes of people or animals. And sometimes you'll see incredible density of design and very fine articulation of motifs in those kind of rugs. And those floral rugs, those city rugs, as some people call them, those formal rugs in some cases, encompass such categories as the Kerman, the Kashan, the Tabriz, the Isfahan, Kashan, and many such similar styles. In more recent years, Nain and some of those types. Whereas the tribal or geometric rugs, they tend to be woven by weavers that are in villages or nomadic groups in tribal tents, and those are a little bit more geometric in form, a little bit less refined in their character. The shapes are more primitive, and that is not necessarily a bad thing for many people's eye. That for the using the eye of the beholder, for them the geometric shapes show more of the hand of the weaver, more imperfections, more simple form, less clutter, as some would call it. And those styles encompass such names as Heriz and Serapi, Baksha'ish, Sultanabad, and some of those types. So we'll be reviewing some examples of those a little bit later on. Before we go further, again, I want to refer you to our website, to www.pgny.com. That's where you can find our complete collection of antique decorative carpets, period European tapestries, vintage pillows, rare textiles, and more. On there, you can find on our links section, you can find links to all of our social media. We are on Facebook. Obviously, this is Facebook Live. We are on Instagram. We're on Twitter and various other platforms. Reach out to us on any of those platforms. You can reach us by email or by phone. Our email is info@pgny.com. Our main phone number is 212-683-2699. You can contact us at any time with your rug and tapestry requests, with your needs for wash and repair, with your appraisal requests, and we have many other services that we have begun to offer in the last couple of years. We'll be happy to discuss those with you. Again, on our website, you have a plethora of options available in terms of how to sort and find the perfect rug or tapestry for your needs. In the beginning of this discussion, I started to reference who our clientele are, and I went off on a more of a tangent about the characteristic of rugs. Our clientele from the inception of the company, we were speaking with Ike earlier about when the company started in 1971, and they started as a retail company at that time, and in subsequent years moved into more of a wholesale format. We are primarily wholesalers to the trade being rug retailers, the interior design and decor trade, architects, builders, home furnishing stores, and many private buyers and rug collectors. In recent years, we have expanded in some cases to direct to the consumer with such websites as First Dibs, with House, with Etsy, One Kings Lane, and others. Unfortunately, some of the others escape me at the moment. But you can find all those links on our links page. If you want to find out more about us and our company history, if you want to meet the individual staff members, you can find out all that information on our website, pgny.com. You can go into the About Us tab, and in the drop down, you will see information or links for all of those options. Now, let me reference some of our friends and colleagues in the rug industry. This week, Today is Wednesday, September 30th. This week, one of our favorite publications in the rug industry, Rug Insider magazine, is having a series of virtual events, and we encourage you to check them out. Check out their web presence, ruginsider.com, www.ruginsider.com. They have a fantastic publication. Here's one of the recent issues, Rug Insider magazine, and Rug Insider is, in many ways, the rug Bible of the American rug industry. There are other fantastic publications in the rug industry outside the U.S. and others in the U.S., but I would say for the U.S.-based consumer, Rug Insider is probably the number one choice. And I highly encourage you to check out their site, check out their social media, check out their Instagram at Rug Insider. And this week they have a series of events taking place called their Under the Rug series. So while we're not affiliated with that series, we think it's a fantastic series, and we highly encourage you to pay them a visit and see what they have to offer. In addition to that, you can check out, again, you can check out our social media presence. We are posting plenty of new items, plenty of featured items daily on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and beyond. And you can email us again at info@pgny.com with your specific rug needs. Before we go any further, I wanted to take a moment. Again, in this past year, we've had, unfortunately, a very, very difficult time in our industry and in many other industries, in the population at large with the coronavirus. We had to close down our location here for about 3-4 months due to the coronavirus lockdown here in New York City. In the past couple of months, New York City has started to reopen to businesses such as ours and to some of the other things. People are starting to come back to New York City, but unfortunately, there's an article today in one of the papers about how only 10% of the workforce in New York City has actually returned in a physical presence to the city, whereas many others are still telecommuting via Zoom and other online formats. So we thank you all for joining us. I'm sorry we can't have this presented in an in-person celebration like we would in previous years. But again, due to the restrictions of the coronavirus and to safety concerns and to other restrictions, this is the best way that we can convey this information to you. So now, if I would, let's see if I can do this here. I wanted to show you some of the wonderful things that we have here. I'm more accustomed to the Instagram Live format than I am to Facebook Live. So I'm looking, as we're speaking, I'm looking for the feature in which I could flip the camera and show you some of these items. But unfortunately, I don't see that capability. Perhaps there's an app that I'm missing here. But from the desktop format that we're working in, we'll work with what we have. I want to show you something here. I was referencing Rug Insider and their Under the Rug series earlier. You can see here's one of the ads that we recently ran in Rug Insider. Again, it's a fantastic publication. You can see this Tabriz right here. This is an antique Tabriz Haji Jalili rug, one of our finest items in our collection. Truly fantastic piece, very finely woven, and you can see that in the Under the Rug series. Go check that out. Now, let me see if I can maneuver the desktop here or the laptop here in a format that allows me to show you some of the wonderful things that we have aside from behind me. We have some great things on the floor, and I'll see if I can carry you with me. And we'll start to review some of the items that we have here. You can see laid out behind me and on the floor some of the wonderful things we have here. As I was referencing earlier with Ike in our discussion about the specialties that the company has. The company has long specialized in oversized rugs, palace-sized rugs, mansion-sized rugs, as some people call them. Essentially, that's rugs that are 20 feet long and longer, and we have one of the biggest, if not the biggest, selection of those in the U.S., if not the world. So again, I encourage you to visit PGNY.com and browse that selection. You can favorite items, you can put items in a shopping cart for instant purchase. There's a number of options you can explore. Let me show you some things that are on the floor here. In addition to oversized rugs, Other specialties of Persian Gallery New York include runners and gallery size items. Runners are rugs that are long and narrow, typically 3.5 feet and narrower. And here's a wonderful example right here on the floor. I can show you that right there. You'll see that is a Bakshish runner. We were talking about styles before, and the Bakshish style is a style that is based in the Harries region of Persia or Iran. Typically, the weaving in the Bakshish style, or it's a subdivision or a subcategory of the Harries and Serapi style. It's a little bit more stylized, perhaps, than the Harries. It's a little bit older. Bakshish rugs tend to be circa 1860 to 1900 or thereabouts, whereas Harries rugs tend to be from the 1910s and onward. Serapi rugs kind of fall in the middle. They overlap a little bit with the Bakshish rugs. They run maybe from circa 1880 until 1920 or thereabouts. And for the most part, they're all from the same region, but the differentiation between Harries, Serapi, and Bakshish being that they are woven by different segments of the population in that province and also have a little bit of a different aesthetic and different weaving density. So again, here is a Bakshish rug. You'll see the geometric styling. You'll see that the rendering of the leaves and the floral motifs is not very direct. It's almost as if you took a floral design and then turned it into a geometric format. That is typical of the village style, or some would even call it a tribal style. I would call it a village style, where it's a little bit more rudimentary in its execution and not quite as refined, but still, it's a very lovely piece. As you said, the lovely colors. This piece is about 16 feet long, and I'll reference the number there. That is our rug number 31427. The size is 17 feet 1 inches by 2 feet 9 inches. You can check that out. Go to the search box right at the top of our page, pgny.com, and pop that number in, and all the information for that item will pop right up. Right over here, I'll show you the next item. We have a Chinese Peking rug. Chinese rugs are not very common to find. Most Chinese rugs are either very small or very large. You find some in the Art Deco style, Chinese Art Deco style, in the room size subcategory, which would be about 8 by 10 up to 10 by 14 in size. This is a peculiar piece. It's a Chinese Peking rug. It's very unique in the sense that it has all the motifs that you would see in a much larger piece, but in a small size. So that is quite rare to find a piece with these distinguishing characteristics. The Chinese rug is prized by many collectors. We have seen many of our favorite colleagues over the years amass wonderful collections of Chinese rugs, and this would fit right into any one of those discussions. Right here next to the Chinese rug, we'll zoom down over here. You see this rug over here. This is a Turkish Uşak rug, and this is in a gallery size. Now, what is a gallery size? A gallery size is typically a rug that is long and wide, uh, not quite as rectangular in a standard format like a room size rug, and not quite as long and narrow as a runner, but long and maybe about 4 to 5 feet wide, or 4 to 6 feet wide, and more than double the length. And subtle colors, some pastels, a very sparse design. As you'll notice, the difference between the Persian Bakshish rug, the Chinese rug, and the Turkish rug. They all have different color palettes, different styles, different manners of execution of design. I'll give you the rug numbers on those if you want to reference those on our website. The Bakshish runner, again, is number 31427. The size is 17 feet 1 inches by 2 feet 9 inches. The Chinese Peking rug, the small rug, is number 31790, and that is size 2 by 4. And the Uşak rug is number 28812, and that is 6 feet 6 inches by 3 feet 7 inches. Again, these are all very different styles of rugs, all wonderful and all available on our website. I'll show you the next rug that we pulled out here. And this is, you see this rug right over here. I wish I had more control of where the camera was pointing. I apologize. Again, the Facebook Live format is new to me and doesn't have quite as many features as I had hoped it would, but we're making do with what we can. This right here, let's see, this is, you can see that's a very unusual coloration for an antique rug. Usually you don't see a rug that has this type of coloration in the outer border. Typically, a rug of this style, this is the Harry's Swapping family, you referenced that earlier. Typically, the rugs in this weaving style or in this genre have a navy border or a deep red border. It's very unusual for an item like this to have an off color, almost a beige saffron colored border like this one does over here. And this is Harry's Karaja number 31340. The size is 6 feet 3 inches by 4 feet 7 inches. You can, again, find these all on our website, pgny.com. You can pop any of these numbers into the white search bar at the top of the page, and the information, all the details, all the images of those will pop up. The next item we have is this item right over here. And I'm referencing the one over there in the middle with the navy field and the repeating design. This is a distinction that I should make. The repeating design there are some people that prefer, you'll see right behind me, this over here, there's some rugs have a medallion design, as it's called, and some have a repeating design. The medallion design is where you have a central element on a rug, central focus. It could be a circular design, it could be a diamond-shaped design, some kind of floral design, and that central element is referred to as a medallion. Whereas a rug that has the repeating design has a series of repeating flowers or geometric elements or other stylistic motifs that recur from one end of the rug to the other. In the case of the one we're looking at right there, that is a Farrahan Saruk rug, rug number 31142. The size is 6 feet 6 inches by 4 feet 1 inches. And again, these are items that I picked out that we are looking at largely because they are unique examples of their style and their size. Rugs in the small size range, maybe about 3 by 5, 4 by 6, are very hard to come by in this age in good condition. Why? Because these kind of rugs are typically used or were typically used as they were underfoot. So they would be placed in front of a tent, in front of a bed, in front of a table, in front of anywhere else in the environment they were used in which people would stand or congregate or eat, or even in front of a door or whatever, wherever it might have been. Now, these examples here that we're showing you are all in very good to excellent condition, which means that even though they were underfoot, they were very well maintained and were minimally used. In some cases, they were kept in storage. We have many clients from whom we've sourced these kind of rugs that have kept their items in storage because they valued their beauty so much that they didn't want to damage them by putting them underfoot too much. So again, this is item number 31142. It's a Farrahan Saruk. A Farrahan Saruk is a Persian rug, an antique Persian rug, circa maybe about 1890 to 1900 from the Saruk region. It's kind of in the middle ground between the Farrahan region and the Saruk region. And those two offer slightly different styles. The Farrahan region is known for their repeating style in a little bit more of a geometric motif, and the Saruk is typically a more floral style with a little bit of a thicker wool. So this Farrahan Saruk we're looking at, again, item number 31142. I'll see if I can turn it around again and give you a quick one. That's one of the native field right here. This is a nice marriage between those two styles, the Farrahan and the Saruk. It has the repeating style of the Farrahan, but it has the floral rendering of the design that comes from the Saruk family. A wonderful example in very good condition here. We'll move on to one of the next items we have here on display. And what's this little guy right here? This over here is a very unusual little piece. It is a Turkish kilim with a Baba Noel design. Now, what is the Baba Noel design? Baba Noel design is a variation of the Santa Claus design. This is a wonderful piece to get for the holidays. This is item number 32176. It is size 3 feet 8 inches by 2 foot 10 inches. It's a very whimsical design. It's available on our website. You can add that to cart. You know, we've had the good fortune to come across a few of these pieces over the years. And every time we've added one to inventory, it's been bought up right away by someone who wanted to give it to a loved one as a Christmas present. I think this is maybe the third one we found in the last 5 to 6 years. And again, as soon as they come into stock, they get sold right away. So if you want to grab this as a Christmas gift for a loved one, I would say act now, act now. 32176. Okay, next I'll show you the Persian rug that's over there with the red field and the ivory belly. Now, Kashan is another city center in Iran. It's one of the bigger cities, and the rugs that emanate from Kashan are some of the finer rugs with more curvilinear design, with crisper execution, with very, very fine wool, and a very, very strong level of durability. This Kashan rug is Kashan rug number 28162, and it is size 6 feet 10 inches by 4 feet 6 inches. It's a great, great rug, very durable, and wonderful colors. Next is a little bit further down. We have another rug with a similar color palette, similar design, but different type of execution. And that is Isfahan rug number 26003. The size is 7 feet 7 inches by 4 feet 7 inches. Again, you can find all of these items that we're discussing on our website, pgny.com. These are a sampling, what I'm showing is a sampling of some of the rugs that we have available on our website, and some items that are new for the fall, some items that haven't been seen on our website and are new additions to our website, and some items that are very unique examples of their weaving style and their size category. That Isfahan is number 26003. It's size 77 by 47. Further past the Isfahan with a tangerine colored feel is a Tabriz is a very highly valued, highly desired style of rug. It's a wonderful marriage between the geometric and the floral styles. It tends a little bit more towards the floral than the geometric, but it is very durable, very finely woven, and has a wonderful aesthetic. The Tabriz rug that we're looking at is number 26724, size is 6 by 47. And again, with the limitations of the Facebook Live format on a desktop, I'm doing the best I can to show you the rugs from a distance. Optimally, I would be able to show you them up close, but unfortunately, the hardware doesn't appreciate it. So that's that rug over there, and right beyond that rug, you see a runner with a blue field and an ivory border, and that is a Caucasian Kuba runner. The Caucasus is a region north of Iran, between Iran and Russia, near the Azerbaijan region. And the Caucasus produces a wonderful series of rugs that are prized by rug collectors. This particular example is a wonderful example of a Caucasian Kuba style in a runner size. The size of that runner is 12 feet 5 inches by 3 feet 3 inches, and that is rug number 35101. Again, I'm trying to show you these items. It's a little bit challenging given the constraints of the hardware, and unfortunately, Facebook Live doesn't allow me some of the options to present to you images from the computer. So you can look those up on our website. That is number 35101, and you can see all the images for yourself. Next, we will show you, we were talking with Ike earlier, the company president and one of the co-founders, about one of his passion projects. And one of his passion projects that he's working on, one of our big product offerings that'll be coming up this fall. It's not yet even on our website. Is a series of vintage pillows. You'll see some of those here in a variety of styles and shapes. We have French jacquard pillows. The French jacquard, Mike was explaining earlier, the French jacquard, these was a series of loomed fabrics that were produced, or loomed tapestries that were produced in the early 1900s. Uh, and we have produced a large number of French jacquard tapestry pillows with very nice renderings, lovely designs, and a very soft finish. And these will be available very soon on our website. You can check those out. Again, here's a preview of some of those pillows. We have a mix of French jacquard tapestry pillows and oriental rug pillows. Some of those are available now on our website, but much more are on the way. So keep an eye out on pgny.com for those new discoveries and those new reveals. That will be coming up in the fall. Meanwhile, you can check out the links on our website for what is currently available. We have a wonderful selection of things available for sale. Many items are for sale on our retail websites, including First Dibs and many others, in many cases at substantially discounted prices. So you can check those out. And you can use the links on our links page, pgny.com/links, to see those items or to connect to those platforms. Over here, we have two tapestries on the floor. The first is tapestry number 26095, and the one slightly above it is tapestry number 35158. 35158 is not on our website yet. It just came into inventory, but the one over here, 26095, when discussing tapestries, similar to the way in which we discussed the difference between various rug styles, including the floral versus geometric stylizations of rugs, the difference between a city rug and a village rug. A city rug being more curvilinear in nature, a little bit more refined, a little bit of a tighter weave, a little bit of a higher pile than the geometric or village counterpart, the geometric rugs typically being from villages and tribes, being a little bit less refined, a little bit more crude and primitive in their design and their execution, but nonetheless also wonderful. In a similar way, antique tapestries have very different styles and formats in which they are executed. There are a few major categories of styles of antique tapestries. One of them, which is the two rugs, the two tapestries that you see on the floor here, I'll show you those again in a moment, is the verdure style. Now, what is the verdure tapestry? The verdure tapestry is a tapestry that depicts a verdant landscape. It depicts trees, it depicts a lake, perhaps a cottage in the background, perhaps a swan or another exotic bird at play in the forest. It's an envisioning of the classic idyll, IDYLL, of what a ideal verdant escape would be. In the times that these were woven, in the 16th through 19th centuries, many people didn't have access to a verdant escape, to what we would consider today maybe like an ideal park, maybe Central Park, Prospect Park, one of the wonderful escapes from urban life. In those days, perhaps one of these escapes was the wonderful verdant landscape that belonged to a king or a duke that wasn't necessarily accessible to the everyday person. So the antique tapestry also began as a an adornment, a wall hanging exclusively for the kings and the higher ups in European society in the early days, in the 15th and 16th centuries and thereabouts. One of the tapestries that we are most known for, that you can find out more about on our website, you can click on the red bar on the top of our website on pgny.com. You can see we have a very famous tapestry, a Julius Caesar tapestry that once belonged to the court of King Henry VIII. And that's a magnificent piece. And as you can find out by reading some of the articles that are linked on the page for that website, for that tapestry on our website, the antique tapestry, particularly in the larger sizes, were the exclusive territory of the kings. Why? Because they cost a tremendous amount to make. They were woven of wool, silk, silver, and gold thread. They were woven by master weavers. They were very large, very expensive to produce, and they were not just adornments for the walls, they were insulation for the castles in which they were hung. And in the days of King Henry VIII and some of his contemporaries, centuries before, centuries after, the antique tapestry was one of the most prized possessions. It was one of the greatest symbols of luxury in the ancient era. Whereas today, perhaps one of the greatest status symbols, one of the greatest luxury items is the Rolls Royce, or a private jet, a private yacht. In those days, the antique tapestry was one of the most prized items. So these tapestries that we're showing you here are representations of some of those styles. One of them being the verdure style we discussed. That's the verdant landscape. We have right behind me here, if I can move the screen in a way that will show you, you'll see over here right behind me on the wall, there is a historical tapestry. A historical tapestry tells a story of a historical moment. It captures a moment in history. That particular tapestry right behind me at that moment was a depiction of the marriage of King Henry of England and Queen or Princess Catherine of France. So there's the historical tapestry, there's the verdure tapestry. In addition to that, there is the mythological tapestry, and those tell mythological tales, the tales of uh, we have a couple of tapestries that tell the story of the Trojan War and the Judgment of Paris, where Paris had to choose in a beauty contest between three goddesses and decide who was the most beautiful for the chance to win the hand of Helen of Troy, and many other such stories from Ovid's Metamorphoses and other mythological sources. That's the mythological tapestry. In addition to that, we have the religious tapestries. Religious tapestries tell the tales of the Old and New Testament. They tell biblical tales, tales of Moses and of Noah and of Jesus and many other biblical figures from Old Testament and New Testament, respectively. And we have several of those items being added to our collection. Again, as far as antique tapestries goes, period European tapestries goes, we have perhaps the biggest and best selection in the United States. And you can check those all out by visiting our website at www.pgny.com and clicking into the Browse Tapestries section. You can browse by size, you can browse by style, you can sort them by all manner of filters on our website. And so these tapestries that were right behind us over here, and we were showing you those a moment ago. I'll show you again. We have two verdure tapestries. This one over here, number 26095. You can click that onto our website. You can see all the images of that item. That is available for purchase on our site. You can find that there. This is a verdure scene. We also have the one right behind it. That is number 35158. That is not yet available on our site. Will be soon. And that is another verdure landscape scene, but with a prominent exotic bird depicted in it. In addition to the tapestries categories we discussed, there are also other tapestries. There is the grotesque style of tapestry, which depicts European grotesques. There are many other styles, and we have many of those items being added to inventory. They say, what's new in the antique rug industry? There's not much new. Well, that's not necessarily the case. There is a lot of new in the antique rug world as more and more antique rugs are being sold at auction or sold in estate sales and in other formats in which they are being made available to collectors such as ourselves. We are amassing more and more of the finest antique tapestries in the world, and we make those available to you. Again, these are very modest priced tapestries, relatively speaking, in relation to comparably sized and comparably aged wall art. So if you want to decorate your apartment, you want to decorate your home, you want to decorate your office, you want to decorate your corporate space, you want to decorate your communal space, an antique tapestry is a wonderful way to go. It adds tremendous character to your space. We've had collaborations with many prominent names in the world of fashion and design and home furnishings who have used our tapestries for their displays because they make everything stand out in such greater relief. And you can find some of the links to those images and those collaborations on the press page of our website, and that is in the About Us link on pgny.com. So as we wind down in the last couple of minutes of our hour, again, for those of you that might have joined us later in the broadcast or might be watching this on delay on the rebroadcast on Facebook Live or on other platforms, I apologize again for any camera deficiencies that I might have experienced. I was hoping that with the Facebook Live format, we'd be able to have a little bit better ease of use in terms of how we can show you some of the items that we have in our collection here or that we have on display on our floor. But unfortunately, there are limitations to what you can do with Facebook Live from a desktop environment. So we hope that you saw some wonderful things and you can find those items on our website. Again, you can check that out at www.pgny.com. You can browse our full collection of antique rugs, period European tapestries, vintage pillows, rare textiles, and much more, with many, many more on the way soon. You can access our social media from our links page. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/Persian Gallery. We are on Twitter at twitter.com/Persian Gallery. We are on Instagram at instagram.com/Persian Gallery New York. And we also have another feed, PGNY slash, or I'm sorry, underscore antique underscore carpet rug tapestry. You can check out all of those. The links are all right there in our links page. You can also access our site if you are a buyer from the, you're looking for something for your home. You can find our links to our retail sites, our online shops on First Dibs, on Etsy, and more sites on our links page. It's all available there. As we start to wrap up, I will take a moment to, again, thank you all for joining us. I know that optimally, these anniversary celebrations would take place in person with you folks all right here in our showroom, in our Midtown Manhattan showroom, right here in the heart of the Oriental Rug District. It would be much preferable to have you all here with us to be able to show you the rugs in person, show you some of the differences in quality and style of weaving. But unfortunately, that's not possible in the COVID era. So we're happy that you are able to join us in this online format, and we hope that you visit us online at www.pgny.com. Email us at info@pgny.com. Call our office at 212-683-2699. And hit us up on social media. You have all of our social media available on our links page, pgny.com/links. I thank you all for joining us. I was hoping to have some industry guests join us via the Facebook Live app. Unfortunately, while we had several industry guests who were available and anxious to join us, unfortunately, there were some complications in terms of making that happen with the limitations of the Facebook Live app. So I thank you all for who wanted to join us. Please send us a message and we'll be happy to share those on our social media thereafter. Meanwhile, again, this is Rodney Hakim from Persian Gallery New York. I thank you all for joining us for this hour. If you have a glass, raise a glass. I toast to you. And let's have a toast to 49 years in the antique rug trade. I wish you all health in the coronavirus era. I know there's a lot of instability in New York and beyond New York right now with the coronavirus, with everything that's happening in the U.S., around the world. But if there's one thing I can say is that we've been around for 49 years. We plan to be here for many more. And we've been bringing you for those 49 years some of the best antique rugs, period European tapestries, and other textiles in the world. And we hope to continue to do so for many more years. So again, Rodney Hakim from Persian Gallery New York. I raise this glass to you all. Thank you all for joining us. Cheers. And here's to many more good years together. PGNY.com, info@pgny.com. Thank you all. Good day.